Okay, hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of me making my Harry Styles video. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I said that I would be doing the yellow part of the sweater. So this is how this looks, and this is called the pattern that was used was called double moss stitch. So as I've said 1,000 times probably in the last video, I am basing off the original pattern because I really like it and I really just want to see if I could do it. So a little bit of update from last piece. So I am doing a 14 by 14, so that means 14 inches width and length, so you guys can really customize it to however you guys want. And I am using this 285 yard ball yarn, and I was able to make the complete 10 squares that is required for the pattern of the sweater. So just in case you guys are looking to buy this yarn here in particular, it would be enough to do the 10 squares. And if you guys decide to size down like 12 centimeters by 12 or however large you want your pieces to be, it would probably be enough if you do your squares less than 14 centimeters. So yeah, so now I'm gonna go ahead and start with this yellow one. And I showed all the colors in my last video, but just in case you didn't and you just want to do this yellow part, this is Sunny Day and this is the brand. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this. We're gonna put this over here, and I use a hook to start it off, and then I send it to my needles. So my needles are 6.5 millimeters or 10 and a half US. So we grab our yarn because I've already been making these, and this pattern is a little bit complicated. So this is the double moss stitch, and it would be a knit, purl, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one. And for me, in order to not get lost, I kind of made like a tracking thing. And so I just took this whiteboard. I got this at Dollar Tree, so it was very cheap. And I just did knit one, purl one, knit one, because the pattern for this one is for row 1 and 2 is knit 1, purl 1, and for rows 3 to 4 is purl 1, knit 1. So if you don't know how to purl, I will be teaching you how to do that. So it's these 4 rows right here, and you just have to do that until you reach the desired length, and mine is 14 by 14. So that's what I do. So you just basically doing in multiples of 4. So this is mine, and I have a total of 26 rows. So for when I reach 14 centimeters, I would do a total of 26. So this is just a pattern, and whenever I do one, you guys will see that I'll just put like a little dot so I don't have to rewrite to the pattern. And so I just do that until I finish, and it'll be these 26 is exactly my 14 centimeters of my squares. So let's go ahead and get started. So like I mentioned, I use my hook, and this hook is 5 millimeters. So we do a little slip, knot, stitch, whatever. I'm learning a lot of these names. So we can just go ahead and do this one more time, like this. So we could do the easiest way to do this stitch. So we just pull through our needle, and mine is 24 stitches. So just do however many stitches you need to do. But I'm gonna do 1. Never count this first one, so this doesn't count as 1. So we start right here. 1, 2, 3, oops. Remember, not too tight but not too loose, just kind of where you don't hear your string forcing itself. I wasn't even counting, but okay, let's just keep it going. Okay, so here I have my 24 little stitches, and if you guys watched my last video and you know how to do this already and you're comfortable with it, you can just go ahead and skip while I go ahead and get these transferred onto the needle. So over here is to get this ready, we just go into the little holes right here with our hook. And then we grab our yarn and just pull through and make sure we have enough space in our loops right here so we could go through our needles. So again, so that kind of gives you an idea of how I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and speed through this. So I am now, I'm sorry, I'm filming super late. It's like 12:30 at night. But now that I have these already all through and I have my 24 and I counted, I'm just gonna push them through the needle, and this is super easy. You just kind of back them up here and just pass them through. There's not much science really, you just gotta be careful and not to lose them. So you just go through the back. The easiest way is to just go through the back and push it out. Then make sure you're holding it here so they don't come off the needle. Just through the back and out. Oh, like that one that just slipped out, you gotta be careful with it. Push those down and just slip it through. You wanna slip both through so they don't fall out. So just be careful with it. So yeah, just fast forward through this. Okay, so this is where our little chart, or if you're a little bit smarter than me, because I forget everything super fast, so I forget like what section I'm supposed to be on. So the first row, like I mentioned, we start as knit 1, purl 1. So the whole row, it would just be knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and so on until you finish row 1 and 2. So for knitting would be considered this stitch right here. So we place our other yarn like this over our finger. When we grab our first, we will be going through the back right here. Through the back right here. So this is our knit. Our knit, we would take our yarn from here in the back and then out. It's like we were doing knit in the orange pattern, in the orange square, it was all knit. So this one has a little extra steps. So our next stitch is going to be a purl. And for this one, we're going to switch our yarn to the front. So instead of it being behind us, it's behind us right here is going to be in front, and we will be grabbing our needle from here at the front. Oh my god, my yarn is all messed up because I had to redo it, but we will grab our needle here at the front like this at the front, and then we kind of go our yarn around our needle this way, and then we just pull through this over here, and then it just kind of does it by, if you kind of have to like angle your needle so you could get it out. So then you have this little loop and swoop it out. So I don't know if you noticed, when I was taking this out from our left hand, the yarn kind of just moves to the back. That's how you're gonna want to do it, because it'll be KP and then we're gonna do a K, which is knit. If you have to say that in the back of your head so you can kind of memorize the pattern, do it like KP, KP. So this one is a P, and we go through the front. And if you happen to forget what stitch you're on, our purl kind of has like this loop around it. I don't know if you can see, but it has this knit, this little thing right here. So that's a purl. So you would just PKP. So we do a knit next. So knit, and then always remember to bring your yarn to the front for purl. So for purl, we do this, then we switch it out, and in this process right here, your yarn will automatically go to the back. Once you kind of get the hang of it, you would just automatically switch your yarn to the front. So like for this one, it's easier to send it to the back while you're slipping it out, and when you're doing the front one, you just kind of have to do the little extra movement so you could have it right back to the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more in real time and then time lapse the rest so you guys can see. So this guide right here kind of obviously guides you on what your last stitch should be. So right there, my last stitch should be a purl. So this one I would go from the front and finish my row off, if it will let me. Okay. So our second row will be exactly the same angles. So I'll go ahead and just mark this one off that I completed it, and I go ahead and do the same one. We start off with a knit and we're gonna end up with a purl. So again, a knit starts right here. A knit, we go from the back. And the first one can always be a little hard, so it's okay to take your time. So you flip it and you do your purl, and then you just keep going. Again, if it's too hard to go through the back, always just go from the front and then to the back to get your knit. So like that. And always make sure to remind yourself to move your yarn from the back into the front, and after you kind of like pick up the pace, after you do your first couple of rows, it's kind of like in your subconscious. And again, if you forget which one is which, the ones that have the little loops, like this one, that's a purl, and this one doesn't have anything around it, so that's a knit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, and then I'll come back to do our third row. Okay, as you've seen, I've crossed out my second row. So now I'm on to my third row, and my third and fourth rows will be purl one, knit one, and so on. So this one, instead of starting it from the back, we will start it from the front, which is our purl. So we have our yarn, we move it to the front right here, and this could be a little hard at first. It's still hard for me to start it off because of how loose it gets up here. So you kind of go through the front, then you wrap it around and you just slide it out. So it's purl one, we start off with the purl, and then we go with the knit, purl, knit, and so on. And with this pattern, you're going to have to end in a knit, so you can just kind of see if you're ending in the right spot, and you could tell if you are in the right, with the right steps, you know, the right pattern. So also, if my videos are a little bit long, but I want to be as specific as possible, you know, because I watched some videos and like I understand what they're doing because of my previous experience with knitting and stuff, but a lot of people, they are really beginners, and I want you all to know that if you are a beginning, it is possible, because I hadn't picked up some needles or a crochet hook in over like 3 years. And I recently started again while doing this cardigan, and my patterns have gotten better and better as I keep doing it. So it's more like practice, like you just gotta practice and see what's comfortable for you, and don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're taking long. Like honestly, these things take long, and if like you're doing a shorter size, like a smaller size, you would probably be done by now, since you wouldn't have to do such a big square like I am. But yeah, like take your time. I take approximately like an hour per square. Like today I did like 5 squares, and I just started, and the pattern looks good. Like don't give up. Like right now that I'm talking, I just did all of this, like, and as you can see, I ended in a knit, because this is our little loop and this doesn't have loops, so we ended in a knit. And we can go ahead and just check this one off. But yeah, like don't beat yourself up if you're not a fast knitter. That's okay, because I wasn't either. I'm still not. Like I'm still a little bit slow. I wish I would be done, but I'm not done yet. But it's a process, you know. I don't mind it. So our fourth row will be exactly like our third row. So we start off like this. We bring our yarn to the front. Well, yeah, we bring our yarn to the front, and we loop it, and then out we go. You kind of just have to practice a little bit, and I've messed up in some of my squares that I have. Like I've forgotten what stitch goes next, and like I get them confused sometimes. But this little pattern right here is very forgiving, because they look like little knots, honestly, and it's very hard to tell. Like I showed my mom, I was like, try to figure out like where I messed up and see if it's like visible, and she couldn't tell. So if she couldn't tell and she's been doing it for a year, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna come up to you and be like, oh, you missed a point here, it was supposed to be a knit here and you didn't do that. So yeah, this is our fourth row, and so our next row is going to be the same as row 1 and 2. So you're going to start that one as knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and you should end in purl 1, and that's just how you keep going. When I first wrote this pattern up so I could kind of know how many I was writing, I just kind of wrote a whole bunch of them up down to this column right here, and this third column that I have, and I was just crossing them off until I got to my desired length, which is 14 centimeters, and that's how I knew when to stop instead of having to measure all the time. And now all of my squares get completed a little bit faster without measuring, and I just kind of have an idea already. Like once I'm done with this half right here, I'm just like, okay, I'm almost halfway done. So yeah, and the ending for these to close it up, it will be exactly like the last one. I close them all the same way, and I will leave a clip of the orange one. Okay, so now it's the next day, and it took me a long time because I was busy today. So I said I was gonna just insert a clip from the orange one, but that's lazy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and close it here with you guys. So I finished my 26 rows, and I'm gonna go ahead and close with my hook. So as you can see, I crossed all of them off. Here's the pattern again, just in case you guys wanted to see, and this does measure 14 centimeters. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it off. So we grab our string, and then it's like if we're working with the other needle. So we go in, we grab our yarn, and we hook it through, and then we slide off. We grab our yarn in twice, and there we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead, show a couple more, and then speed through the rest. It's very hard to get this angle. So this one takes 12 yellow squares, but it's your cardigan. You could do whatever amount of squares you want. If you want less yellow squares and more of another color, then that's totally up to you. But I'm doing the 12 that are required in the pattern, and I've done 8 I think so far, so I don't have that much to go. So I will be coming back in a couple of days with another color. I think I'm going to pick up the green. I'm going to pick up green next. So yeah, so I'm going to finish this off now. So for the last one, you're gonna want to make another little loop. So once we shut this one out, what the heck, once we close this one right here, we pull through, we tighten this, and we make another little loop and tighten it up again and leave a little bit out, and then we're done. So this is our part pattern. This was the double moss stitch. You can go ahead and cut off a little bit. So yeah, so this was the double moss stitch, and next I'm probably gonna start the green one. If not, I'll just probably update in the comments or in the description, or probably in the video. So yeah, this was it, and if you watched it and if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys soon when I come back to do another color. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.